Max Verstappen data is the first thing I look at, F1 star admits at Chinese Grand Prix. Verstappen starts the Chinese Grand Prix on Sunday from 5th on the grid with Gasly a place back in 6th. The Frenchman is 2 years older than Verstappen, but it's the 21-year-old who is helping play a more senior role in the Red Bull garage. Gasly's team are all over Verstappen's stats and telemetry as they try to get the best out of the car in China. "We keep an eye on it for sure," Gasly admitted after qualifying. "When you're in F1, it's the first thing you look at, your teammate and how he does things, especially with him and the fact he's worked with the team and he's so far. I have a lot of things to learn from him and his experience inside the team. I try to get the maximum out of it." Valtteri Bottas took pole from Lewis Hamilton as Mercedes locked out the front row for the 59th time in China. Sebastian Vettel will start behind them in third, Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc is fourth, and then it's the Red Bulls. "I think it was the best I could expect. It's still a tricky weekend. I think we're happy with the position, but I'm not happy with my driving still," Gasly admitted. "I am struggling with the car, so there's some work to do. All the tractions, all the exits, I struggle to put the power down and I'm fighting a lot with the car. I know the things I need to work on, probably try to change a bit my driving style, and with the team working together we can find the direction to make it a bit more suitable for myself. I am quite aggressive with the way I go on the power, which doesn't help with that car. It worked last year, but I think I need to change a bit the way I drive to get the maximum out of this car." Next news: Quali, Bottas edges out Hamilton for China pole. Ferrari may have had the straight line speed, but over a complete lap it was Valtteri Bottas who was quickest in qualifying, grabbing pole position in China. Bottas set the pace in Q1, fastest with a 1:32.658, before Lewis Hamilton edged him in Q2, a 1:31.637 for the reigning world champion on the medium tires. Surprisingly, Ferrari, led by Sebastian Vettel, were 6/10 down. Although the Scuderia had the better straight line speed, it was noted by many that their SF90 was extremely slow through slow corners. Going into Q3, the big question was tire choice, soft or mediums. However, all 10 drivers opted for soft wireless. Bottas claimed provisional pole, purple in the first 2 sectors, to go 7s quicker than Hamilton. Vettel lined up third, 0.438s down, while Max Verstappen was 4th and Charles Leclerc was P5. Back on track for a second run with fresh softs on all the cars, Hamilton was the first of the 2 Mercedes to cross the line. He did so with a 1:31.6, which was slower than his previous best. Bottas upped his pace to a 1:31.547 to take pole position by 23s, and in doing so became the 3rd different pole sitter in 3 races. Vettel had to settle for 3rd place ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc was at a disadvantage in the pole position shootout, as Ferrari's timing in Q1 meant when he came to complete his lap, he had to pass 4 or so cars in the final few corners. Down in 11th place, he wasn't comfortably through and therefore had to do a second run, leaving him short a set of soft tires for Q3. Verstappen finished with the 5th fastest time, the Dutchman unhappy with the traffic in the form of Vettel and a Renault, which cost him a shot at a late hot lap. Pierre Gasly, appearing in Q3 for the first time as a Red Bull driver, was 6th. Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg and the 2 Haas cars of Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean completed the top 10. The Haas drivers, though, didn't set times, as they also fell foul of the traffic and were left to accept P9 and 10. Qualifying got underway a driver short as Toro Rosso were unable to repair Alexander Albon's STR14 following his massive crash in final practice. The driver, though, was thankfully okay. That meant only 4 drivers dropped out in Q1, Antonio Giovinazzi, George Russell, Robert Kubica and Lance Stroll, the 7th time in a row that the Canadian didn't make it out of Q1. Giovinazzi failed to set a time due to yet another power unit issue. The Italian ventured out for 2 laps before returning to the pits where he stayed, sitting in his car until the clock ran out. In Q2 it was Daniil Kvyat, Sergio Perez, Kimi Räikkönen and the tomb clearance of Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris who failed to progress. For Räikkönen, that ended his run of 53 races in Q3. Starting back in Hungary 2016, it was the longest run of Q3 appearances for anyone on the grid. Times 1 Valtteri Bottas Mercedes 1:31.5472 Lewis Hamilton Mercedes 0023 S3 Sebastian Vettel Ferrari 0.301 S4 Charles Leclerc Ferrari 0.318 S5 Max Verstappen Red Bull 0.542 S6 Pierre Gasly Red Bull 1.383 S7 Daniel Ricciardo Renault 1.411 S8 Nico Hülkenberg Renault 1.415 S9 Kevin Magnussen Haas no time 10 Romain Grosjean Haas no time 11 Daniil Kvyat Toro Rosso 1:33.23612 Sergio Perez Racing Point 1:33.29913 Kimi Räikkönen Alfa Romeo Racing 1:33.41914 Carlos Sainz McLaren 1:33.52315 Lando Norris McLaren 1:33.96716 Lance Stroll Racing Point 1:34.14817 George Russell Williams 1:35.25318 Robert Kubica Williams 1:35.28119 Antonio Giovinazzi Alfa Romeo Racing no time 20 Alex Albon Toro Rosso did not take part. Next news: Verstappen will now screw up qualifying for others. Max Verstappen was left feeling annoyed after being compromised by traffic when he was just trying to be nice. The Dutchman had initially split the 2 Ferrari cars after his first hot lap in Q3, but was unable to complete another after a backlog of traffic began to build in the final couple of corners. Vettel and the 2 Renault cars both got the jump on Verstappen in the queue, prompting an expletive written response on team radio when realizing he was not going to be able to get another lap in. Verstappen was unhappy with the behavior of others and feels he has been caught out for trying to do the right thing. "I started to follow the Ferrari in front of me and tried to be nice," Verstappen said back in the paddock. "I mean, I could have also overtaken him, but it's just not what you do in qualifying. This time it caught me out, so I'm not happy about that. But it will swing around and come back to others. It's just annoying as we could have fought for third." "So now we just have to do more overtaking." Verstappen then added to Ziggo Sport, "They screw up your entire run-up, even though it's an unwritten rule that you just follow each other. But it doesn't matter, I'll screw up their qualifying from now on as well." Red Bull boss Christian Horner echoed Verstappen's thoughts, saying Ferrari were there for the taking throughout qualifying. "A bit of jockeying for position at the start of the lap cost us," Horner told Sky Sports F1. "Max was in a good position, but then Sebastian passed him around the outside, so he's then hung back not to get into Sebastian's dirty air, then the Renaults passed him and he's hung back again, and unfortunately the clock ticking down the way it was, he didn't make it to the line in time." It's a shame because it would have been a good opportunity to try and improve. I think we could have made the second row today. We managed it in the previous 2 sessions and in the first run of Q3. Just means we'll have to race harder tomorrow. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.